The story begins and we see a girl named Koto who is sitting outside a hospital on a bench. She sees a boy and goes over to talk with him. The name of boy was Kiro, who was our main protagonist. Koto greets Kiro, but Kiro gets confused because he does not remember her. Koto says, "How can't you remember the girl who saved your life in past?" Kiro replies he does not remember that he had ever been in danger, that someone needs to save his life. However, Koto tells him a year ago in this hospital he was walking through corridors, and suddenly some children passed by him and pushed him on ground, and she saved him and grabbed him before he falls on ground. She also tells him that on that day he and his girlfriend Saki thanked her, and he also promised that he will always remember her. On that day Koto fell in love with Kiro. She also refers him as a goat-like figure with 2 demon horns. Now in the present, Kiro remembers Koto and tells her that he not good at remembering girls' faces, especially the girls who wears the hat. Then she sits beside Kiro and reintroduces herself to make sure he will not forget her again. Koto then tells Kiro that they should start dating, because she knew that the relationship between Saki and him has ended and he is now single. Koto asks Kiro the reason why they broke up. On that, Kiro tells her one night they both were walking past by a river. Suddenly a monster appeared from river as he saw him. He ran away leaving Saki behind, and this was the reason Saki broke with him. But Koto tells him that it is all lie and says that the monster was afraid of Kiro. Seeing monster scared from Kiro, Saki thinks who actually Kiro is. Koto then explains that all monsters knows his true identity is. Then Kiro asks Koto, "Who actually are you?" She tells him she is the goddess of wisdom for all monsters, spirits, mythical creatures. But Kiro does not believe her. Koto tried to convince him and tell him to find newspapers from 6 years ago, in which you will find a story of a girl who went missing but later found without a leg and an eye. Koto then leaves and gets into the bus to go home. Suddenly she gets visited by a spirit which tells her about a demon monster lurking in the library. Koto tells the monster that she will take care of it tomorrow. Next day, and we see Kiro, who had found the newspaper about Koto, and understand that Koto was not lying. When he comes out of the building, Koto sees him and asks him, is this enough proof for him to believe her? But Kiro says it does not prove that you are a goddess of wisdom. Suddenly a human comes running towards them and get transformed into a fox in front of them. Fox tells Koto the monster had returned in the library and the library has been broken down. Fox asks help from Koto and he looks at Kiro and gets frightened from him. After seeing the fox transformed, Kiro believes in the story of Koto. And then both Kiro and Koto visit the library where they sees the giant monster. Koto tries to talk with the monster, but it ignores her command and attacks her. Since the monster was not listening to Koto, Kiro grabs Koto and starts running and tries to escape from there. But after running for a while he suddenly turns back and stands in front of the monster. Monster attacks them and it ate the whole arm of Kiro. Seeing it, Koto gets very scared. But we see that Kiro body has regeneration power and he is immortal. The monster, who just eaten the flesh of Kiro, melts down and dies. After seeing this, Koto gets in shock and she asks Kiro about his true identity. On which Kiro says that asks your mythical creatures about it who I am. Kiro then tells Koto that he had eaten 2 types of demon meat in his childhood, which gave him immortality and regeneration powers. On next day Kiro goes in the hospital to visit his cousin who was admitted in the hospital. In hospital he sees Koto and they talk about yesterday which happened in the library. Koto asks Kiro about his arm and he tells her that he is fine. He also tells her that in his childhood one meat he ate was from a mermaid, and that is why he has regeneration power. But Koto tells him eating mermaid meat also gives inherit eternal youth. However, Kiro still does not look like a boy. Kiro says it may be because of other meat of monster he ate, it affecting the eternal youth power. Koto asks him what was the other meat was, but he does not give her answer and ignores her question. Right after, Koto invite Kiro to visit a mythical creature which was a giant snake, because the giant snake wants to ask some questions to her. But Kiro rejects going with her and tells her that he has other things to do, so she should go alone and talk with the serpent. So Koto goes to serpent alone and snake tells her that everyone is forgetting him. He has not received a single prayer from humans in many years, and human being also not consider him as a water god. After that, snake sees that Koto is upset. He asks her what happened and Koto replies him that she is upset because her boyfriend didn't come with her to accompany her. She apologized Snake and asked him why he wanted help from her. And Snake tells her a few days ago a woman threw a corpse into the pond. The name of woman was Tanya and the corpse was of a man whose name was Hiru, who was Tanya's ex-boyfriend's boss. Tanya was later arrested by the police and testified them that she threw the corpse into the pound because she had heard about the giant snake who liked to eat humans, and she gave it as an offering to Snake. But it was all lie. The giant snake saw her throwing the corpse into the pound. When she threw the corpse, she whispered saying, "I really hope someone finds it." Snake also noticed that she didn't tie anything heavy to the corpse, so she definitely wanted corpse to be found out. And that's why the snake is asking Koto for help, as he wants an explanation from Goddess of Wisdom. Koto tries to help Snake by giving several explanations, but each reason Snake leads to an empty plot, so Koto gave him one more reason in which why Tanya did this. And she tells the snake that it was all started by her ex-boyfriend Michai, who was recently died in the bathroom in the arm of another woman, and this woman was his co-worker. After their deaths, it was told that Michai played around with some numbers and embezzled a large amount of money to his account. He understood that his boss will find it out. Him and his co-worker, only two persons were there who know about this. So they both decide to do suicide in the bathroom. On that time this happens, Tanya was pregnant. She was carrying his baby, so she thought she was carrying a baby of a man who just betrayed her. Later on she ended having miscarriage and dumped the unborn baby in the pound. After that incident she moved on with her life and lives out from the city alone. A year goes and she get visited by his boyfriend's boss, which confesses to her that he was the one who really embezzled the money, and Michai and his co-worker were knowing about this. So they threatened him to make it public, so he killed them both. After hearing the boss, Tanya takes her revenge on the boss and dumped his corpse into the pound, hoping that police will search entire pound, by which they would also found her unborn baby. So she whispered saying she really hoped someone finds it. After explaining to the serpent, Koto sees the Kiro in the bushes hiding and listening their conversation. Koto then leaves from there with Kiro, and she tells Kiro that everything she told the serpent was a lie because she had sent her one spirit to check on Tanya, and the spirit heard the truth from Tanya's mouth, and the real reason she did it was to see the snake eating the corpse. After a year later we see Kiro's girlfriend Saki. She was a police officer. Saki and another officer were discussing about a recent case of a man who crashed into the river. The guy told Saki that he was distracted by a beautiful spirit. He also tells her that spirit was faceless lady with two big eyes. But Saki don't believe him and wrote down that it was a dog which causes the accident. But Saki's partner argues with her and says we should write correct description in the report. But Saki says that they should not use word ghost in their reports. She tells him that this happens because of a ghost whose name was Steel Lady. Her partner replies and says he also heard about Steel Lady, but he still don't believe that ghosts are actually real. Before her partner leaves, Saki tells him that monster and yokai are also exists in this world. She tells him that his ex-boyfriend is also a monster, but in a human form, and that is the reason she broke up with him. Saki starts the investigation where the accident happened. There she meets Koto, who fall on top of her, which was fighting with the Steel Lady. Saki saw the Steel Lady, and she had enough hearing of Steel Lady. She attacks the Steel Lady and tries to punch her, but her hand went through Steel Lady's body. Then Steel Lady tries to attack Saki with her iron rod, but Koto comes in between and pushes the Steel Lady away from Saki. After that, Steel Lady disappeared from there. Saki asks Koto, "Are you a yokai too, and how you were able to hit the Steel Lady?" But Koto tells Saki to forget about everything that happened here and do not tell the police about it. But Saki shows her police badge to Koto and tells her that she a police officer. Saki asks Koto to come with her in police station for further questions, and where she can also treats her wounds she got in fight. Koto then reads the badge and she understands that she just found Kiro's ex-girlfriend. Koto tells her if she knew that she is Saki, then she wouldn't saved her from Steel Lady. Then Saki gets angry from Koto for being rude. After that they both goes to Saki's apartment, where Koto tells Saki about Kiro, and also tells her that Kiro and she is now dating. She also shows her photos of them together, in which Saki looked Kiro unhappy and miserable. But Koto disagrees. Then Saki asks Koto where is Kiro and why he was not with you when you were facing with Steel Lady. Koto replies and says he has been disappeared around a week ago, and the last text message from him was to do not go looking for him. And then Koto leaves from Saki's house and uses a giant skeleton spirit for the transportation. After that, Saki start investigating about Steel Lady on the computer. Who was she and how she died? And she found that Steel Lady's real name was Karen and she was 18 years old. In her life everything was not going so well until one day she gets an offer of role for leading actress. From there she became a famous actress and was worshipped by many fans. Saki continues investigation, and she founds a website where Steel Lady's fans talks about her on wiki page. In there Saki finds everything she wants to know about Steel Lady. She finds that Steel Lady's father was died in an accident by falling down by stairs. But there were also rumors that she killed her father for the insurance money. Because of this rumors she didn't get many roles and she had to temporarily withdraw from acting. After a few days later Karen was died because of large steel rods falling on her in construction site. After that we see Koto, who was also searching about Steel Lady on Wikipedia and how to defeat her, because all her spirit was too afraid to fight with her. Since she was the goddess of wisdom she feels like she has to one to stop her. Later some spirit visit Koto in a restaurant. They informs her that Steel Lady had appeared again. Koto arrives at the location and see her fighting with someone. The man she was fighting with was Kiro. After some time Saki also comes at the location and they both watches Kiro fighting with Steel Lady. Kiro was losing the fight. He get huge hit by a metal rod which kills him. But he revives himself and came back to life and soon he start predicting Steel Lady's attack. Saki do not understand how he was doing this. Then Koto explains her that the other demon meat he ate in his childhood was from the monster called Kyuten. Normally one who eats his meat dies, but Kiro's grandmother was the one who fed him both meats, by which Kiro got the ability to see in the future. However, he can only use this whenever dies. So when the Steel Lady killed him he saw the future and came back to life, by which he start predicting her attacks. We come back to the fight and Kiro breaks the neck of Steel Lady, but it doesn't affect her and she fixes herself and runs away from there. Then Kiro sees both Koto and Saki watching him, and they all comes at Saki's apartment and talk about Steel Lady, how they can defeat her, on which Koto explains them that Steel Lady is different from other yokai or spirit, because she was created by the imagination of her fans who idolized her. These fans gave her appearance and body so that she became real and came to the real world. Saki asks Koto how is this possible, because how can so many people think of same image in order to bring her in real life? Koto tells her it is because of the Wikipedia which was created by her fans. So to stop the Steel Lady they have rewrite the story of her and make it interesting enough to make people believe that Steel Lady is not a real ghost by which she will cease her to exist. For this plan Koto needs more information, so she asks Saki about investigation file of Karen, and they all go to the place where Karen was died. And a spirit confirms that she was crushed by a giant steel rod. However, he also tells them she did not move out of the way, almost she liked to be wanted to die. They all discuss with each other and they decide to fake narrate a story to replace the old one, by which they can finally kill the Steel Lady. One night we see that Saki's partner was the victim of the Steel Lady, and news of this decreased the chances of defeating Steel Lady. So Koto start thinking fast to come up with a story to defeat the Steel Lady. After some hours she made for a solution by which they can defeat Steel Lady. But by this she became very tired and sleeps on the bed. So Kiro and Saki decide to go out and bring some food. While going, Saki asks Kiro why he is dating Koto because she is not his type. She also tells him that she knows he is actually in love with his cousin Rika, who was in the hospital for over 2 years. She is the one who Kiro regularly visits in the hospital. When Saki goes to meet Rika she got very scared from her. Kiro explains Saki that she was very sick, still she won't die, because she also has same powers like him. He also tells her that Rika had also eaten the same demon meat which he ate in his childhood. Saki tells Kiro that Koto told her that Rika got discharged from the hospital, and she stayed with them for few weeks. They all were staying together, so Koto noticed that Rika was always on her computer and also liked to draw painting. But one day she suddenly disappeared, and Koto saw her painting which looked same like Steel Lady. But Koto do not agree that Rika is the creator of Steel Lady. But surprisingly Kiro was already knowing about Rika being the creator of the Steel Lady. And it was the reason Kiro was missing for a few weeks, because he was out looking for Rika. A yokai spirit comes to Koto and tell her that Steel Lady has returned. Koto says that this will be the final fight between them. Koto asks Kiro to fight with Steel Lady and she and Saki will try to write fake stories on Wikipedia, by which they will try to convince to people stop believing in Steel Lady, by which Steel Lady will become weaker and will disappear. But we see Rika using her power where she chooses a future in which Steel Lady will still exists, and Kiro was trying to do the opposite of it. We see Koto which was trying to convince people on the site that ghosts are not real. Steel Lady actually she is a person dressing like Karen, which was trying to get away with committing crime, because she knows that police will find the real culprit. However, Koto fails to convince the people on her stories. So she tries to tell them many other reasons but she fails. At last she tells them the last story, where she tells them that Karen is still alive. She wants to get out of the spotlight due to rumors of her about she had killed her father. She wanted to have a new start. So she found a person which looks like her and they became friend. One day Karen asked her friend for favor to become her decoy and help her to distract the paparazzi away from her. Her friend agrees to do it. They both dye her hair and she wears the same clothes like Karen. Then Karen told her to run in the direction of construction site and she will meet her after some time. Karen then hit her friend unconscious and crushed her face with steel rod, by which her friend will identified as Karen. And real Karen is still alive living a normal life with them. Then some users ask why was the steel lady topic was there if the real Karen was alive. Other users tell them that might be the real Karen had made this Wikipedia by herself, by which she can make the world believe that she is actually dead. People start believing that ghost is not real. And their Kiro finally defeats the steel lady and she disappears from the existence. In the next season Kiro will try to find his cousin Rika and defeat her. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.